Canon EOS 1DX Mark II Review. Design. Having handled the 1DX2 for a couple of days, there's a whole lot to like about it. Not that it's particularly different to the original model. The large-scale body is almost identical, albeit for some rear thumbstick design and texture changes, an extra bump on its head courtesy of a built-in GPS module, and, tucked away inside, a fast guard slot for ultra-fast write speeds. It sits alongside a more conventional compact flash port, so no need to necessarily upgrade to the newer format just yet. It's a pretty serious wedge of kit, though, so if you're looking for something small then, well, this isn't going to fit the brief. Having just reviewed the mid-range Canon 80D, the 1DX2 is a whole different beast. But you knew that already. And despite the size, everything falls to place in the hand well, catering for both portrait and landscape orientation thanks to dual controls, the second set of which can be deactivated with a twist of an external control. Autofocus. First is the iServo 3 Plus continuous tracking system, which utilizes the gyros and image-stabilized lenses to help predict tracking movement. Let's say you're shooting out on a racetrack where there's a sharp bend. You follow the curve of the road, but the camera doesn't know to predict this because, until now, it's not been able to judge speed of physical movement. By using the gyro information, it can predict when your physical movement is slowing down or speeding up, in which direction, and predict where the subject and, therefore, active autofocus points ought to be headed. Assuming you have the correct scenario selected from the 5 available within the 1DX2's menu system, which comes with the full 65-page document to help explain their nuances and usage scenarios. This is detailed, drill-down deep stuff. Second, all 61 points are sensitive to f/8, which will be handy if you're using a 2x converter and are forced to use a smaller aperture. 21 of these f-points are cross-type to said sensitivity. You can choose to utilize all points or cross-type only in selection, with 1-point, 5-point group, 9-point group, center/left/right areas and full 61-point arrays being available using the dedicated focus type button and FFN button. We swapped the latter for the front thumb wheel as it's more familiar. Rewinding back to our experience in Copenhagen Cistern, and it's clear just how advanced this autofocus system is in single rather than continuous f2. When it comes to dark venues, this is a prime example. Even ISO 25600 at f/2.8 was pulling up shutter speeds not much better than 1/15 second. Yep, it's dark in there. So dark, in fact, that the camera could see more than we could by eye, so a snap to judge composition was typically best to work from and then readjust accordingly. It's quite astonishing, and as much as a tripod would be the logical solution for shooting in such a scenario, that wasn't available at the time. Still, the handheld shots are passable despite such demanding settings. Image quality. There is some interesting detail about that new 20.2 megapixel sensor, however, which has on-sensor analog to digital conversion for a shorter circuit path, which in turn, Canon claims, means less heat and lower image noise, but specifically at the lower ISO sensitivities. Overall, the 1DX is all about balance. It doesn't overdo the megapixel count, offering just 2 megapixels more resolution than the original 1DX from 2012. It maintains a low-pass filter, unlike many higher-resolution cameras these days, that are ditching that for slightly sharper results and increased risk of noir. It's the camera for sports photographers, studio photographers, pros on the go. And the image quality is impressive indeed. As we see it, we've been using the camera entirely contently at ISO 1600 with no fear of details lacking or image noise peering into the image. Critical dark background shots maintain richness even at such sensitivity, as seen by our flaming gymnast model. Shoot outdoors in similar ISO sensitivities, used in order to bump up the shutter speed, maintain bags of clarity. Just look at the dragster, ISO 400, explosion, ISO 800, or even car chase, crash scene, ISO 2000, in our gallery to see what we're talking about.
out.